Sagittarius, today, a destined trio is rising in the space of your soul. The Eight of Cups, the World, and the Ace of Pentacles. Not as vague signals, but as three torches lighting the path that leads you away from the old and into an entirely different reality. The Eight of Cups is a gentle but undeniable truth. It doesn't push you away, it invites you to release, to walk from what has drained your spirit and exhausted your inner flame. The World, the card of closure, arrives not as an ending in sorrow, but as confirmation. A chapter has reached completion. It's not a departure, it's a return to the destiny that has always belonged to you. And then, the Ace of Pentacles appears like a golden seed placed in your hand at the very moment you're finally ready to receive it. Within the next 72 hours, or maybe in the very moment you're hearing these words, a doorway will open, a financial opportunity, a material shift, or a turning point in your work and purpose. But if you keep waiting for something outside of you to change, if you keep delaying your own readiness, the pattern will return. And this time, the cost won't be a day or a week. It could be years of your life, frozen in a loop you no longer belong to. If something in you is stirring right now, don't stay silent. Write this down, right now. I welcome the new path with an open heart and faith in my greater destiny. When you write it, you're not just making a statement, you're activating an agreement with your future self. Now, place your hand over your heart, and let's open these cards as if we were opening a doorway your soul has been waiting for. The Eight of Cups is placed at the center, the card of leaving with dignity. Under the watchful moonlight, symbol of intuition and the hidden self, you're no longer running away like before. You're learning to stand, to say goodbye with respect, without bitterness and without collapse. This is a very specific kind of courage. The courage to walk away because you know that what once fed you has now become a barrier. I see a job that no longer fuels your fire, a relationship that forces you to shrink yourself just to remain there, or a home that no longer lets you breathe freely. Your mind is still trying to build excuses to stay, but your intuition, that primal survival instinct of a fire sign, already knows the answer. And then, the world appears, glowing like a halo when you're ready to end something the right way. It's a passage, a rite of completion. Not dramatic, but powerful. You're beginning to understand every journey before this has led you to this threshold, and for the first time in a long time, you don't feel like you're fighting anymore. You simply step through, like a soul that has ripened. No more pacing in the maze of overthinking, no more clutching what was never yours to keep. A new kit is being packed, not just in the physical sense, but in mindset, lifestyle, and faith. You're being summoned somewhere, to the place where your higher self, the version of you that you always knew you could become, is already waiting. And the Ace of Pentacles is not abstract, not illusionary. It's something you can touch, a contract, an amount of money, an invitation from afar. Group of people who see your worth. They don't ask what degree you have or how many times you've failed. They see something real, something rare, in the way you live by your ideals. They open the door, and if you have the courage to step through, the stability you've been wanting will finally appear. This opportunity might come from a different culture, from a field you once thought you weren't ready for, or from something you used to believe was not good enough. But now that you've taken off the mask, now that you're living in your wild truth and your free light, the universe is mirroring that back to you with what you truly deserve. Inner endings are always the prerequisite for real material change. What has collapsed recently, whether it was a relationship, a job, or a belief system, was not a disaster. It was the dismantling of a weak structure. And the tears you hid, they were the water, nourishing the seed that's beginning to sprout. I know there were moments when you felt mapeless, lost between crossroads, unsure which direction to take. But look again. Haven't all your losses brought you closer to what you actually needed? Didn't the storm, in the end, wash the dust from your eyes? And then, the reversed Two of Swords appears like the universe nodding in agreement. No more fog, no more postponing. This is the moment of choosing, not between right and wrong, but between your soul and your fear. Sagittarius, you were not born to live in hesitation. You came to ignite light, to walk even if it's down a road no one has walked before. And if you're hearing this right now, trust that the door isn't far away. It's already in your chest, waiting for the first leap, the first step, the first promise you make to yourself. And I see you standing in a moment no one else can decide for you. A crossroads, with no signs, no map, where each step could open a heaven. Or send you back into an old lesson wearing a new, harsher costume. The reversed Two of Swords, it's like the universe has gently pulled the blindfold from your eyes. You can't pretend you don't see anymore. You can't delay what you've always known. You can't live halfway. A clear sign will arrive, an unexpected offer, a fated reconnection, or a piece of information strong enough to erase every last doubt about your next move. And you'll recognize it the moment it appears, because your body will exhale, like someone breaking the surface of the water after holding their breath too long. And then, the Six of Cups arrives like a soft wind carrying the echo of an old love song. Not necessarily romantic, but a kind of connection that's deep, rare, and pure, where you are seen without explanation, where your silence is understood as clearly as your words. This person doesn't return to reopen a wound, they return to affirm a transformation. They bring a missing link, as if their soul once signed a shared plan with yours in another lifetime. And now is the moment that memory wakes up. This meeting is not random, it's part of a much larger pattern, one you couldn't recognize while standing too close. Knight of Pentacles enters, not in a rush, but with certainty. An offer, a contract, an upgrade is already on its way. It may come as a document, an email, a phone call with clear terms. At first, everything may move faster than you expect, as if time is trying to make up for the long stretch you've spent waiting in uncertainty. But don't worry, this acceleration isn't here to overwhelm you. It's here to heal stagnation. You've been carrying this seed in silence for a long time. Now, the first leaf has broken through the soil, not to survive, but to bloom. A new home, both literal and symbolic, is forming. Not just a shelter, but a space of healing. A place where sunlight pours through the windows, where stillness lets you hear your own inner voice again. Where you cook without rushing, work without draining yourself, write without forcing your flame. And in that space, you'll sing again. You'll invite in the ones you love, not to earn their approval, but because you want to share the fullness of your spirit. The cards aren't just speaking about money, they're affirming alignment. Right place, right people, right timing. What's coming isn't a reward, it's the natural result of choosing correctly. The Ten of Cups appears like the warm smile of your own future looking back at you. A moment when you feel, deep inside, that it's right. Not because someone else says so, but because your heart is finally at peace. A number may return as a sign, a moment your subconscious will recognize. You don't have to know the exact date, just notice when it repeats. Because when that moment comes, a yes will be spoken, a door will swing open, and what you've been waiting for will take its true shape. The chariot, your vehicle of destiny, arrives like a surge of motion, carrying you forward. This isn't just a change of location, it's a full spectrum shift in career, in love, in mindset, in the role you play in your own life. Projects accelerate, someone from the past apologizes, opportunities call your name, and this time you won't ask, "Should I?" You'll ask, "Where do I want to begin first?" And if you're still wondering what to choose, close your eyes and ask yourself, the version of me I'm becoming, which side of this crossroads is it standing on? If this touches something deep within you, write it down right now. I am ready to walk the path made for my soul. That sentence is a signal to the universe, a quiet but undeniable declaration that you've awakened. And once a heart dares to open, the door will never close again. You've traveled far, haven't you? Not just across physical places, but through emotional terrain. Spiritual deserts, inner forests of silence and rebirth. And now, standing at the edge of a chapter's final page, it is not memory, not fear, and certainly not others' expectations that guide your steps. It's your self-respect, your sacred compass. The past no longer has the power to dictate your direction. Your intuition, refined through 1,000 solitary sunsets, is now leading you to a place where justice is not punishment, but restoration. And then, the justice card appears, not with a hammer, but with love. It whispers, every soul will be returned to its rightful place. And you You who have paid invisible debts in dignified silence, you who have walked through fire without losing your faith, you are now stepping into a reward no one can take from you. All unresolved matters, emotional, legal, spiritual, are now coming into light. The things you once feared, they're done. That old door has closed, and with it, a deep exhale. You no longer have to fight for what's always been yours. And in this sacred pause, I, like an old teacher, place my hand upon yours and pass on this soul decree. I stand fully in my truest self. I release what no longer uplifts me, and I welcome the blooming of my spirit in the light of truth. Now take a deep breath in, seal that intention into your reality, because as you read these words, you may feel a subtle shift, as if an invisible door is opening just ahead of you. And through that doorway, the Three of Pentacles rises, a clear image. You are not alone. You're not hiding. You're positioning yourself for meaningful collaboration with souls who match your frequency. You're entering an alliance, a project, a team, a sacred circle, where your gifts are respected, where you are seen, not just for your skills, but for the soul you bring into the room. You give without depletion. You merge without disappearing, and you are recognized as irreplaceable. And then, the Nine of Pentacles confirms what my spirit already knew. You're entering a phase of true autonomy. No longer needing approval, no longer using busyness as a shield from your pain. This financial independence you're building, it isn't for show. It's the kind that lets you rest without guilt, give without bleeding, and truly choose what you allow into your life. And then the Fool arrives. Playful, alive, winking at me as if to tell you, it doesn't matter how far you've gone, what matters is, do you have the courage to begin again, exactly where your heart is calling you now. For you, dear Sagittarius, born to expand, the leap of faith doesn't mean recklessness. It means radical honesty with your real feelings. Sometimes, saying yes to a path no one else understands is the most courageous, soul-honoring act you'll ever make. Your element is fire, but not just any fire. You carry the sacred flame of seekers, of truth, of freedom, of redemption through experience. And as the Seven of Cups rises, I invite you, breathe deeply, because before you now stand many doors. Maybe offers come from two very different lands. Maybe one road leads to academia and another to art. Maybe two souls knock on your door at the same time. But hear me, it won't be logic that leads you to the right one. It will be the feeling, that moment when your body exhales as if it has just come home. That's the one. That's the path your soul remembers, even if your mind has never been there before. And once you choose, the Queen of Wands smiles from within you. She is the energy of radiant independence, of creativity and unapologetic power. And wherever you land, wherever this next home, this new environment may be, you will light the fire again. If you're a writer, words will pour like a river. If you're an artist, color will explode from your fingers. If you're a builder, you'll create things with both form and soul. Not because you're trying to be special, but because you are finally nourished properly. And that energy, others will feel it, even if you never say a word. Sagittarius, this is the chapter where you stop running toward approval and begin living with your deepest integrity. If this stirs something within you, write it now. I live in the truth and light of my soul. This isn't just a sentence. It's the very first door you open, not with your hands, but with your heart. The Queen of Wands doesn't just enter with a proud flame. She arrives like a mentor whispering in your ear. Dress for yourself. Walk into every room like your presence is needed there. And never, ever apologize for the light you carry. Humility doesn't mean shrinking. This card calls you to finally show your full spectrum. The talents, colors, and power you've wrapped up tightly for so long, afraid of being too much. But no one benefits when you pretend to be smaller than you are. Then comes the Four of Wands, and it seals this beginning with a sacred promise. A home. Not just a shelter, but a space where your soul truly feels like it belongs. I see in that space late-night conversations that don't want to end, laughter drifting from the kitchen, simple, warm gatherings where you are fully yourself. In that place, friendship becomes family, and each day is lit by tiny rituals of love. Slow coffee, a line of poetry, sunlight through the window, or just being silent together in peace. That place doesn't confine you. It doesn't demand that you twist yourself to fit. It grows with you, adjusts to your breath, becomes sacred alongside your freedom. And for a Sagittarius, that's more precious than any crown. Before we continue, I want you to write this sacred vow in the comments. I walk by faith under the moonlight and choose the place that chooses me. It's not just a phrase, it's a covenant between your soul and the destiny awaiting. And then a spark appears, not when you're rushing, but in that moment you finally pause, breathe, let the dust settle. That's when the sun gently touches your shoulder, not to interrupt, but to confirm. It's time for you to see yourself in a new light. When I turned that card, I saw a name, a truth, something your spirit already knew, but never dared to say aloud. And once you see it, you'll understand, every scattered piece of your past was never lost. They've been forming something whole, behind the scenes, waiting for you to catch up. This isn't just moving houses. This is not just changing jobs or routines. This is a soul-level rebirth, the kind that makes people who thought they knew you stop in awe. It's like shedding old skin, like your silent companion the moon is tuning your frequency so you begin to glow again. Not because you're trying, but because you've returned to your purest self, and love. It will arrive, quietly, without performance, but strong as fate. The Two of Cups appears again and again, like a divine whisper. If you've been waiting for a connection, it's coming. If you're already in one, it will be reignited, with a slower fire, with no more masks, just hearts aligned and willing to build truthfully. And if you're walking alone right now, a fork in the road awaits. A moment where your entire understanding of love and being loved will be rewritten by your own experience. This is no fleeting romance. This is a deep soul meeting, where heart recognizes heart and soul chooses soul. This love won't be built from recycled stories. It will rise from the new frequency you now radiate, from the home you've created, inside and out. Because a safe space is the portal the universe uses to bring the right one in. And someone is walking toward you, on your frequency, with your same sacred intent, a soul who's matured through their own journey of never giving up on themselves. Then the hermit steps forward, lantern in hand, like a spiritual teacher guiding the way. He doesn't just point a direction, he speaks to your inner knowing. Before any great transition, there are moments of deep inner stillness. Those nights when you can't sleep, they're not anxiety, they're your consciousness, being rearranged, repeating numbers, songs that seem to follow you, dreams that feel like prophecies. They're not accidents, they're confirmations that you, dear Sagittarius, are walking the right path. Sagittarius, you're about to step into a whole new land, not a place you run to in order to forget the past, but a sacred space where you finally pause and walk into your future with your whole heart. Write it down now. I am ready to return to the truth of my light. And know this, from that very moment, something shifts. My dear Sagittarius, this isn't just a relocation. This is a rite of passage in motion. A spiritual tremor written long ago by your soul, a sacred ritual your higher self has always remembered, even if your mind is still catching up. If, as you hear these words, you feel goosebumps across your skin, a strange sweetness swelling in your throat, or your heart suddenly beating faster, it's not your imagination. It's the deeper part of you, recognizing a familiar signal, a soul bell ringing, calling you to wake up, and your higher self is nodding with a gentle smile. As your spiritual elder, let me invite you to do this. Place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. Take a deep, sacred breath. Allow yourself to trust. Open your arms without fear. Open your heart with gratitude. Open your space like you're sorting through old photographs, choosing only what still holds love and wisdom. Because when you move homes, you're not just relocating things. You're transitioning between lifetimes. You're letting go of an old version of you to step fully into a new timeline. The minor arcana appears in your reading, not through grand symbols, but in tender details. A box sealed with quiet hope, a kitchen-scented keepsake, the echo of laughter from days long gone. This is the time to curate what energy travels with you into this next chapter. You don't need to carry everything, only what truly matters. If there's something still weighing you down, old pain, guilt, resentment, or the unforgiven, let it flow away with salt and water. Like a nomad placing down a heavy stone on the roadside because they no longer need to carry it. Write a thank you note to whatever taught you something and close it with a small ritual. A long breath, a single incense stick, a whispered prayer under moonlight. And rest assured, the Five of Pentacles reversed sends this message. Your financial fears will not come true. You will not sail this boat alone. Support is coming from a place you didn't expect. It may be a surprise sum of money, someone finally paying back an old debt, an envelope tucked in the pocket of your winter coat, or an offer with no strings attached from someone who truly cares. The universe will never ask you to cross a bridge without laying down the first planks. Your role is to trust, to listen, to recognize the signs, to act with clarity, but without force. Speak to life as if you're whispering to the ocean, and then the King of Swords appears. Like a teacher at the end of class, he doesn't scold, he doesn't rush you, he simply meets your eyes and says, it's time to clearly declare what you truly want. There will be people who won't understand your transformation. They'll project their own fears onto your path. They'll try to pull you back into the safety of the past by reminding you who you used to be. But you, Sagittarius, you don't owe anyone an explanation. Stand firm in your truth with quiet dignity. Let love for yourself be your compass, not anger. You're not running away, you're rising higher. You're not abandoning anyone, you're becoming yourself. And for the first time in a long time, you're allowing yourself to live, truly live. And there's one more thing I need to tell you. Because the moon, ruler of your intuition and all things hidden, whispered something strange to me. In the next 7 days, a critical piece of truth will find you, a missing puzzle piece, something that snaps into place and wakes you up. It could be a revelation or a moment of clarity that confirms you were right all along. If something collapses, trust that it's not a failure. It's a divine restructuring. If someone leaves, they're making room for who's meant to be. If you used to doubt something, you're now about to see it through a completely different lens. Because your success, dear soul who refuses to be caged, it doesn't come from effort alone. It comes from soul-aligned action, from resonance. And now, you're finally ready to live in that frequency. Write this in the comments. I allow my highest self to lead the way. And just like that, you've crossed the first sacred threshold. Temperance appears like an angel fine-tuning the rhythm of your days, not to rush you, not to delay you, but to invite you into the tempo of divine timing. Even when things feel urgent, even when the world pushes you to move faster, remember this. What's meant for you will arrive on time, never early, never late. Listen to your body. When something is truly for you, you'll feel it in your natural rhythm. No forcing, no tension. If it feels stressful, pause, breathe. If it feels easeful, let it guide you. Ease is the sign you're in flow. And then, the 10 of Pentacles moves me to tears. Not because of the wealth, but because of the legacy you're silently building in this new home. A home that won't just be shelter, but a spiritual sanctuary. A living altar, where your soul and the souls after you will be nourished in light. You're not just moving house, Sagittarius, you're breaking an ancient pattern. You're healing an emotional lineage. You're creating a new model for what it means to live. Truly live. Where loyalty to yourself isn't in conflict with love for others. If you have children, if you've longed to create something that lasts, or if your career, your vision, is your sacred child, then this choice you're making now is the seed, the one that will grow into something greater. For those who walk after you, they'll learn what you're learning now, that to live as your truest self is the most sacred act. That dreams, when nurtured with devotion, become the place where you breathe, create, and love. And somehow, there's a thread, a mysterious pull, that ties you to the place you're about to go. You may not know why. You may not be able to explain it. But there's a deep, silent knowing, I've belonged here, before. Because deep within the soul's memory, you've walked these streets, lit candles in these corners, sat by that same window, long, long ago. And when you return, it won't feel strange. It will feel like recognition, a street that triggers an old emotion, a scent that softens your heart, a face that seems familiar. Not fantasy, but soul memory awakening. Helping you feel again, the sweetness of coming home. The 6 of Swords appears now, like the gentle eyes of a divine father figure. He has seen it all. Everything you've carried. The lonely nights with no applause, the mornings you asked yourself, how much longer can I endure this? And I tell you now, with the purest love in my voice, nothing was wasted, nothing was in vain. You are not being punished, you're being forged, and you are ready now. Just like a diamond needs pressure to shine, just like a teacher needs patience to complete the lesson. You, Sagittarius, are ready to glow with all the light that's always belonged to you. The hardest part is behind you now. And the reward? It's not just money, though yes, abundance is coming. It's not just love, though love is already knocking on your door. The real reward is peace. That sacred inner peace. That moment when you look into the mirror of your new home, and for the first time, you don't need to brace yourself to accept who you are. You no longer have to shrink to fit into molds that were never made for you. You no longer need permission to live freely. The High Priestess appears now, cloaked in silence, no words needed. She points gently to the power that's always been yours, your intuition. It is your GPS now. Starting next week, your dreams, your gut feelings, the chills running down your arms, they're not random. They are maps. When logic and emotion pull you in opposite directions, choose the voice within, because intuition knows the truth long before the mind gathers enough data to explain it. And if there comes a moment when you tremble, when doubt visits you again, return to this sacred moment. Whisper this vow, loud and reverent, as if you were speaking to the moon from your window. Under the light that guides and the waters that nourish, I offer my home and my heart to peace, to true love, and to the abundance that is already mine. Let those words soak into the air around you. Let them rest on your skin like a door swinging open. Because from now on, a covenant has been made between you and life itself, signed not with ink, but with your soul. I know there were times you waited for a clear sign, a thunderbolt, a sky that changes color, something dramatic to prove you were right to move forward. But the real confirmation? It's not loud. It lives in the shiver along your spine, in the soft ache in your chest as you read these words, in that trembling mix of nervousness and deep, grateful knowing. You're about to touch something sacred, and if you've been asking the universe for a sign, this is it. Your freedom is not about walking away. It's about choosing from the deepest part of your being. You don't need more reasons. You don't need approval. You only need to admit it's time. It's ripe. And you are ready. And then the 4 pages appear. In order. So rare, so clear. A harmony of the 4 elements, like 4 winds calling your name. The Page of Pentacles brings a new financial opportunity, one that may arrive just after you relocate. The Page of Cups opens a heart-level connection where you'll be heard and loved just as you are. The Page of Swords unlocks new ideas, truths you've long wanted to speak, and finally will. And the Page of Wands? Oh, your fire will return. You will write again, dream again. Sketch new journeys on the map of your soul. This is a reset, but not one that erases. It's a graceful beginning with the newest version of you. And I see it. The place you're headed. It's not just a neighborhood. It's a community, a soul tribe. 3 of Cups shows me warm dinners, laughter that heals, spontaneous gatherings that feel like family. You won't have to explain yourself. You won't have to pretend. You'll breathe here freely. And you won't lose anyone worth keeping. But I need to say this with love. The 5 of Swords doesn't come to scare you. It comes to prepare you. Not everyone knows how to celebrate your light. Some will feel threatened. Some will try to pull you back. Some people you thought loved you only loved the smaller version of you they could keep close. So protect what's sprouting, not by hiding, but by choosing who gets access to your sacred. Let your truth be shared with those who uplift you. Let your dreams be protected from the noise of those who never truly listened. And those who love you purely, even if distance makes them ache, they'll raise a glass and celebrate you with all their heart. When it comes to timing, the universe speaks loud and clear. Temperance, the card of natural rhythm, whispers gently, before the next season ends, you will be settled in your new space. So, if the days are still warm where you are, you'll lay down your boxes on the floor of your new home before the cold winds arrive. And if the chill has already begun, you'll have time to place flowers on the table before winter fully embraces the land. You've waited long enough. Now the universe calls your name from the waiting room. Next soul, step into your new life. And you will step forward, not in fear, not in surprise, but like entering a sacred temple, knowing you were always meant to be there. This new reality isn't 1,000 miles away. It's only one choice away. The choice to love yourself the way you've always loved others. The choice to treat your inner sanctuary not just as shelter, but as holy ground. Let every item you bring be a blessing. Touch them as if anointing them with love. And for the objects that bring a lump to your throat, thank them and release them. You don't have to carry pain that has already taught you its lesson. Prepare a bowl of water and salt. Place your hands in it. Let the energy run through you like a sacred current, washing away what is no longer needed. Then whisper to the water, "Thank you, I have lived, and now I'm ready to live anew." And when you arrive, you'll find your home bathed in light. The kitchen filled with the aroma of your favorite dish. Conversations after dinner flowing like meditations. Laughter echoing from windows like music made just for your life. And if tension arises, as life sometimes brings, the King of Swords will stand beside you, helping you speak clearly, calmly, in loyalty to your own soul, not to win, but to honor truth. Sagittarius, this isn't just a move, it's a ritual of soul resurrection. This is where the highest version of you is waiting for your return. Learn to speak to life with love without needing to explain. Set boundaries without guilt. Because choosing yourself is not betraying anyone. Choosing yourself is honoring the greatest gift the universe ever gave you, your own life. And if, within the next 7 days, a truth arrives, sudden, unfiltered, strong enough to leave you speechless, don't call it a shock. Call it confirmation. A beam of light, bright enough to guide you through the final door without looking back. Sagittarius, there's one more thing I want you to carry. Like an heirloom key, when you enter your new space, take a moment. Turn off the noise, open a window, place your hand on the wall like greeting an old friend, and whisper, "I enter with peace and gratitude." Light a white candle. Place a glass of water near your heart to invite harmony. If you wish, leave a flower by the door, a sacred gesture of welcome. Because every small act in those first days leaves a lasting frequency. And a home, when greeted with soul, will feel you and love you back. The Ten of Pentacles continues to speak. Your name will be attached to something timeless, not through loud numbers, but through quiet peace, slow afternoons, projects that carry your soul's fingerprint. You are becoming a living example, not because you tried to be, but because you dared to live truthfully. And on days when you feel fragile, tempted to retreat into an old shell, please don't judge yourself. You're Sagittarius, but within you, too, is a piece of the moon, ever shifting, tender when needed. Rest if you must. Just don't mistake a temporary shelter for your destined home. Your intuition will be the map, your heart, the compass, and your gentleness, your sword. And if someone asks, "Why did you leave?" smile without defending and say, "I chose myself. I moved because I grew. I began again, not to abandon anyone, but to return home to me." And anyone willing to walk this path beside you will always be welcome. And now, as a spiritual grandfather would, I stand at your threshold, not with advice, but with a smile and a blessing. A small ritual, if your soul feels called to it. Write in the comments below, as a vow from your spirit, "I dedicate my new home and heart to peace and true love." Write it as if you were whispering to the ocean. Write it like a sacred promise. The universe will hear you. And it will respond on the exact frequency you send out. And when you close your eyes tonight, listen to your dreams. The guidance will continue from there. And when you open your eyes to the morning light, place one foot on the ground, then the other, with gratitude in your heart, as if you're stepping onto the sacred shore, the place you've always belonged. Remember, the place waiting for you has also dreamed of you. The love that's seeking you has already picked up your scent and abundance. It has already set the table for your arrival. Within your chest, a place that is both lighthouse and home, there is a light, radiating quietly, not shouting, not begging to be seen, just simply a soul that has finally come home.